Just be a second. Just got to make sure all the settings are right. Alright then, let's get into it. Good afternoon guys, I'm Volcanic Ash and welcome to my first video on Formula 1 2016. As you can see, I'm already into the round 17 and the Japanese Grand Prix. We're about to go into practice number 1. I'm driving at McLaren Honda. And as you can see, despite the difficulties, which I'll show you in a second, we're currently top of the leaderboard. For some reason, it seems like the Mercedes have gone off the pace quite comprehensively at the moment. They seem to be dropping off quite a bit. It seems to be that the Ferraris and the Red Bulls seem to be actually jumping forward and seem to be at the front all the time. Afternoon, Jay. I hope you're right, bud. Just make sure my phone's actually set up so that it don't lock, so I can actually see all your messages. I'm not leaving the laptop on because my room will be like an oven. Right, just be 1 second and then I'll be jumping straight into it. Right, where are we? Where's my lock button? I can't even find that anymore. Where's the lock button on here? I thought it was under general. Oh dear, I can't even find that since they've changed it. Where's my lock button? What the hell? That's not what I wanted. Where's my privacy? No. I'm having a nightmare here. I don't even know how to do it on the new. Since they've updated it. Oh, there we go. Found it. Auto lock. Never. Oh, that's perfect. Thanks, bud. Right. I'll show you my settings actually, Jay, so you can actually see what I'm doing. I've got pretty much same as you, standard full practice, so I've got a bit of everything. We probably won't finish that. I'll get a few things done and then jump into another one. Full qualifying and a 50% race, so it'll probably take about an hour. In terms of assist, I've got it on custom, so I've got braking assist off. I never have that on. Anti-lock brake, so it gives me that little bit of an extra challenge. I'm probably going to lock up at some point, but it means then it's a bit more realistic. Traction control, I've got it on full at the moment. I am trying to bring that down to medium, but I tried to start off with medium, and it's very hard while you're struggling to learn how, like, your throttle inputs, your brake inputs. And very easy for the car to snap out if you're a bit over enthusiastic with your inputs. I have the dynamic racing line on corners only just for reference points and everything and braking inputs. Gearbox automatic, I'd love to be able to do that as manual, but I think I need a steering wheel. And obviously pit assist off. I don't want no assist getting into pit lane. If I make a mistake, that's my own fault. And then for race settings, I've got it on expert. I always have flashbacks on just in case some bullshit goes on. There's always sort of rare occasion, but I try not to use them. Parc fermé is on, so that means as soon as my setup is complete and I've decided on my setup and I go out into qualifying, I can't change that. If that's the wrong setup, that's my own fault. Damage simulation, it's a little bit better than having it on full. Simulation is more real. Probably the best way to put it. I'm more likely to, if I accidentally just slightly, ever so slightly tap the rear end of someone, I could quite easily take like an end plate off my wing, and it's just that it gives me something more to think about. Obviously, you want the safety car on. I haven't put corner cutting onto anything more than regular because last year they updated it and it was a bit over the top when you had it on full. You barely left the track, which is something you wouldn't consider in real life as corner cutting or leaving extending track, and it give you a penalty for it. I've got the formation lap on so I can build my own tyre temperatures, and race starts as manual. Anyone that hasn't got race starts as manual, I really would implore you to put it on manual. It's no different. For me, I think it's the same for everyone, but you press X, hold it, build your revs up with your finger, and just let go as the lights change. It's simple. I'm sure you'll be able to do it, guys. Other than that, everything else is dynamic and official. Let's get into it. As you can see, I'm with the McLaren Honda, and I've just ceased research and development. So that means now my car is set for the rest of the year. If other cars continue to make gains because they haven't ceased R&D, then that's down to them. But for us, it means that we're going to gain a lot of extra resource points for the next season. So at the start of the next season, I'm going to get quite a hefty amount because you get 25% extra, I believe. It may be more. As you can see, because we've been performing well over my career, we've actually got a 400 bonus there from the sponsor. So let's have a look around. As you can see, I'm losing the rivalry to Lewis Hamilton, but we are, as you can see, we've ceased research and development. We're actually the 4th quickest car now, which is probably why I'm probably winning so many. I've done the first 2 lots of development. I've got the other 3 to do, but as you can see, that's our progress up to now. And we ceased development a couple of races back. I think it was after Monza. We had one that was currently, I think it was the drag. Were it the drag? Chassis weight was the last one we did, and that were it, and we stopped. As you can see, the standings, we're currently 52 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton, so it's 2 race victories there. Hopefully that's something that will be a bit of a challenge towards the end of the season. And you can see McLaren's actually in second now. We've overtook Scuderia Ferrari. And then in the trophy room, these are the races I've won so far. A bit more than I'd have wanted, but I've got the difficulty in expert, and I may look at changing that and making it a bit higher. Especially these last 3 or 4 races, it seems like the AI seems to have got a lot slower. Especially Monza, I started on pole, had an issue, ended up having to go causing a crash, and there was a safety car, and then I had to go in, and I still managed to win by a canter, which it shouldn't happen. So let's get into practice 1, and let's see what stuff we have to do. Right then, let's get into it. I'm looking forward to it.
Welcome to Suzuka in Japan, where today's practice session is about to begin on this figure-of-8 circuit. The Suzuka track never disappoints, and that's probably why it's so loved by drivers and fans alike. One of the more intimidating corners on any Formula One track is the legendary 130R. Whilst unusual, the name actually comes from the original design of the corner, a 130-metre radius turn starting just past the track crossover. Over the years, due to several severe accidents, the corner's been redesigned to create a straighter entry and creating what is now a double apex left-handed corner.
Despite the changes, this is still one of the most exhilarating corners that drivers in F1 have to take. It's not normally considered an overtaking spot, but this is the scene of one of Fernando Alonso's most famous manoeuvres, when in 2005 he passed Michael Schumacher's Ferrari around the outside.
Right, guys. Right, Crumpets. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're all right. The one thing I will start doing here, guys, I'll make sure that I'll leave things like that going, because that's something that it's always interesting to learn about the track. See if I can turn on the subtitles. I want one for myself anyway. Would help if I go into the right menu. On-screen display, that's what I want. Is it? Nope. Nope, it's not in there. What is it under? Graphic camera options, no. No, that's not it. I don't want graphic options. Hey Rev, you alright, buddy? I'll try and find it, Jay. If I can't find it, you'll have to. If you know how to do it, you'll have to tell me where it is. Let's have a look what we've actually got to do here. So the team objectives over the 3 sessions of practice, I've got to set fast sector 1 and 3 times in the qualifying pace program, which is that one. And I've got to get a top speed, so I've beat the average speed for that, and I've got to open my DRS simple ones, and then I've got to do 2 setups. So we'll do track acclimatization first. We'll use it in a standard setup, and then I'll build my own setup from there and see what it's like, and we'll do some tinkering. So let's get out. We'll go straight into a flying lap. So I probably won't talk as much as I'm driving, but while we're sat in the garage and things, I will be able to talk. I will try and talk to you as much as I can. Right, so let's go to Rich Revs. Here we go. Oh, run wide. Oh shit. I can't believe I just ran so far wide there. That's why I love having the anti-lock braking switched off. So if I lock up like I'm doing there, that's my own fault if I don't make the apex. Can't go wrong though with a bit of F1. And this game is absolutely quality. If you were thinking about getting it, haven't picked it up, I really would suggest picking it up. It's so good. Everything's just miles better than the last one. The force feedback is just phenomenal. At least I know I've got a couple of corners that I need to work on. Across the line. Like watching Sean Bean. No one can kill Sean Bean. Oh, why? Why did I turn in like that? I suppose at least I know I've got some areas of the track that I need to work on over qualifying. And hopefully I'll do alright in the race. Here we go. Starting to find a little bit of rhythm now. I know where I need to go with the setup anyway. I need to try and get that front nose to turn in, so maybe run a little bit, run medium wings, get a stiffer spring setup on the suspension, an anti-roll bar, and then maybe to lower the differential to try and make it sure that it's a bit more open.
Final lap. This is the final lap of the program.
Let's see if we can get a perfect lap now, or close to a perfect lap. I'll be happy if I get green. like I have done there. You've got to get your throttle management right on this game. It will quite literally bite your hand off. Now locking. I upset the balance of the car going into the corner. As any racing fan will know, if you've got the car upset, it's very hard to get it to turn in. You can get to see how bad I am at making setups in a second. I'll have a look at what you've been saying in the chat as well. Across the line, a 140.2. I'll take that. Alright, let's return to the garage. Oh, perfect, Jay, thank you. Just have a quick read through what you've been saying. Like watching a Sean Bean live stream. Right, I better get my phone on charge because otherwise I won't be able to see your comments because I ain't got my laptop on because it'll be like a sauna in here. I've just picked up PES, by the way. Didn't think I were going to do it this year, but I can't go another week without FIFA. And now the web app's working as well, if you guys didn't know. That means you'll be able to get started at least. I don't think the transfer market's working in the web app. I've still got Battlefield 4, but I don't know if I've actually got it installed. I'll have to check. Right then, let's have a look there. So apparently I got perfect on the track acclimatization, despite the fact that in turn 9, which is the one where you saw me lock up on the last lap, I got an average position, well, average speed and poor position. Other than that, a lot of it was optimal. And funnily enough, in the DRS zone, I've never ever had anything better or anything worse than 0.02, which that can't be right. Oh, right. Let's have a look at setup, shall we, guys? So that's our balance setup. It's just standard all the way through. So we've got a bit of, it's quite quick. So I'll run a low front wing, medium rear transmission. So we want it so more open, less tyre wear, more gradual transition of traction loss. I need to try and get it to turn in a little bit. So just put that down to that. And see what happens. Camber, a negative camber, lateral gate. We've got some sustained corners. So slightly increase that, slightly increase the toe.
But we should make time for a tyre wear program at some point.
Front suspension. We need a little bit of a stiff one. It's quite harsh. Acceleration, we want stiff anti-roll bar at least, and I will probably run a lower setup of ride height. Car should be taking sufficient ground clearance. We need it lower, so go for 4 and 5. Brake pressure. This is the big one. This is something that I'd recommend you looking at, Jay, if you turn off your anti-lock brakes. If you take the brake pressure down, it makes it much harder to lock the brakes, and I found, which is something I've done in each race. So that's probably what I have my brake pressure, about 62, 63. So we'll have the ballast at the back because I like to have the car where it's oversteering over regards to understeering. As for the fuel load's fine. So we'll save that. As you can see, I've got one for every race. Probably not great. There'll be people that will have got much better setups than I have, but they seem to work for me. was top of the speed trap.
99.9 miles per hour.
So have a look then. So let's do... What shall we do? Tyre management. Let's get in with tyre management. The tyre management test is so important. It gives you a personalised setup, so you can actually have... It'll give you 2 setups, but then you can set it to a personalised setup, which takes into account your driving style. It's really good, to be fair. Have it on rich revs as well, so you can see what it's like under excessive load. That's it, there we go. So for the guys that don't know, you want it either green or purple, and you've got to aim for at least 60 points over your 7 laps. If it goes into the red, you're going to wear out your tyres too quickly, which means you're probably better going for a lower management tyre setup in the race itself. If you can get it in green or purple, you can probably get away with the higher management one. And even then, if the game thinks that you're doing worse with your setup and the tyres and you're going to burn them out quickly, it will ask you if you want to change the setup mid-race, so you can change it to it and alter your strategy. It also does that, it depends if you have a safety car or a virtual safety car. So it's pretty in-depth, as you can see. If you're doing this every single race because you're earning resource points by doing the setup and by doing all the practice tests or you're qualifying each session, it is worth doing. As I showed just before we went out of the garage at the very first part of practice, I've ceased research and development, so any points I make I get bonus points for, and because I'm now the first driver at McLaren, promoted over Jenson Button, who's now second driver, I get bonus points for that as well. So I should have a pretty good car to start with next year if I stay at McLaren. Well, that's not good. I've just lost a lot of health on land tyres there. So that's going to be a heavy tyre wear. So that's not good. Heavy tyre wear, I only get 5 points for that. I'm 2 tenths off. If it ends up being heavy, I'll just have to run a lower management setup, which means I'll just have to pit a bit more, which is not a bad thing. It's harder to do this setup with a pad than it is with a steering wheel. I've seen people doing it with steering wheels and coming out with perfect, because you have to be a bit more aggressive on your input. Oh shit, that'll teach me for looking. Right, so now I'm going to struggle. I suppose this is a good thing to show you, because I'm going to struggle now with the tyres because they're all dirty. It had to be when I read your message as well, Crumpet, saying like pro driver, and I go and do that. So even if I get this into the purple zone now, because I'm 5 seconds down on the delta time, I am not going to get a purple score. I'll still get a red score for lap time. Rival status. Alright then, just don't tell me out then.
Conditions to remain dry for a while. We will update you if the outlook changes.
So we'll get this out of the way, and this actual session, I've got no points whatsoever for that one. That's not good. If I fail this lap, I'll end this test and go into the qualifying pace one, because it doesn't really matter. It just means I'll just have to set the lower management one. I suppose the good thing about having automatic gearboxes, I can still shift up and down like it's a manual gearbox. So that helps, especially when it's raining. I can kill the power, because these hybrid cars are very, very powerful in low gears. Have a lot of don't have a lot of traction. End up burning the tyres up quite quickly. It's very easy to just burn a hole through your tyres. And just think, this is the sort of technology that will be in cars within 5 to 10 years. F1 is the breeding ground for technology. Well, I'm not doing, these are supposed to be the hardest compound as well, so I'm not doing particularly well. So I'll end that, and we'll go and get our qualifying pace done. If we can get this done, I'll jump straight to qualifying, because I only need, it's only 3 laps. So I'll jump straight back out onto the track. It's amazing how much of a difference there is between the medium and the stock compound. Even on this game, you can tell that you can take more speed through the corners, and you can feel when these go off the cliff. So the aim here is to beat the 9th place Delta time, which you can currently see is I'm down on the actually down on the time. The aim is to be up on that time, so which I'm about 2/10 up at the moment. It fluctuates quite a bit because of the corners. The AI take the corners at different speed. It's really, really in depth, because you'll get stuff like that if the safety car's out, and it'll tell you that you've got to keep your delta positive. So we're currently 3/4 of a second quicker than the 9th place time, which probably means that I'll only end up doing 1 lap out of 3 if that's the case. Because if you end up getting the time that he thinks it's going to get pole, it'll only do 1 lap and you complete the actual program. If you just beat that time, but it's not first place, you'll keep going until you've either done 3 laps or you end up getting the quickest time. As you can see, I've just gone purple in sector 2 and I've been purple in sector 1, so I'm currently on for the quickest time of the session anyway, which you'd expect with the quickest tyre. The aim is to be at least a second in front.
Program complete. Good work. Head on
There
back
we
to
are.
the garage and we'll start going over the data.
So it reckons I'm going to finish in first place, so I'll show you that now. Let's have a look then. So it reckons the estimated pole time is a 1:38.6, and we did a 1:38.1. It's probably going to be a lot quicker than a 1:38.6. You'll end up seeing someone like Hamilton or Rosberg pull out of 37.9 or something. It reckons I'm going to do between 38.7 and 39.4. So we can end that session now. Before we do that though, we shall have a look at the weather for qualifying. So it's going to be a wet qualifying session and a wet race. That makes it interesting.
An interesting practice session there then. Let's remind ourselves of the top 3.
As you can see, Jenson Button in 6th place.
Raikkonen and Sebastian.
As you go through the game, the teammate works out your setup and adapts your setup, so you will start to see your teammate getting closer to you. An event in some cases actually pass you. But I am really considering actually taking up the difficulty, because I shouldn't be. It's first season, I shouldn't, even though I've got the 4th quickest car, I should not be at the top of the leaderboard. So let's have a listen what they want from me.
Hi, how are you? I'm just passing on your qualifying goals for this weekend.
So they want me to finish 6th or higher. Qualify above Hamilton, which is doable, especially in the rain, and beat Jenson Button. The problem is I'm running a dry setup, so I'm going to keep it anyway, just in case it's not a full wet race. then I'll really come into my own towards the end. So we'll have a look then. So let's go to qualifying 1. See if I can find. I can't find these subtitle settings that you're on about, Jay. I'll have to have a look properly. I'll let David Croft and Anthony Davidson talk you through the start of qualifying.
Welcome to the only figure of 8 track on the F1 calendar. We're here at Suzuka for qualifying today ahead of the Japanese Grand Prix.
Oh, lovely weather.
This is the kind of track that eats rear tyres for breakfast, or so I'm told by more experienced drivers than myself.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
Let's have a quick look, because preference on. Can't see, it weren't in there last time because it was just camera options, which is on there. I'll have to have a look. It might be in the actual main menu settings, so I'll have to have a look properly on there. So let's have a look then. So it reckons it's going to be heavy rain throughout qualifying here, and it's going to be. I reckon it's going to dry out in that race. I reckon it's not going to be rainy by the 45th minute. So let's have a look then. We'll speed time up a bit anyway. Get them out and do a bit of times. See what Jenson Button is in 3rd place. Oh, the track's actually getting better. Right, there's 8 minutes left. They're still out on full wets. Let's have a look at the setup, because it may tell me that the Delta will actually be quicker if I went to intermediates. I'm actually slightly quicker, and the track's getting quicker.
Could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future.
Right, that's going on inters then. If that's the case, I'm going to absolutely blow these out at water. A suitable tyre compound. Blah, 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 blah. Well, that's not what the Delta's saying. The Delta's saying I'm quicker on intermediates. So if that's the case, yeah, it says the Delta's saying I'm getting the current situation. I'm 3 temps up, so I'm going out on these.
Okay, let's update the setup.
Ignore. Right, so Parc Fermé now kicks in as soon as I leave the garage. We'll drive out and we'll actually see what the track's like. So we get to see what it's like coming out of the pit lane. So I'd be wearing a jumper if I were him if I'm walking out there.
Checks complete. All personnel be aware we have a car leaving.
Feels alright. No snapping oversteer. I bet I'll be able to do a quicker time as well. Temperatures seem fine as well, mid-70s. I reckon I'm on the right tyre here. You want your inters to be around 75 to 80 degrees in temperature. Anything less than well, as mine are dropping to the low 70s. They get too low, say below 70, starting to think you're on the wrong tyre. It depends really. I say mine's as mine's getting lower. It's very easy to get a bit of heat, and there is a defined racing line that you can see. let's see what we can do. Going up to 130R. In the dry, it's usually flat, but I might have to lift. It reckons yeah, I'm gonna have to lift. Yeah, I need to lift. That's good. Good information for the next time around. So here we go, into the S's. So far so good. See, I'm 1.2 seconds up on the fastest time, so I'm definitely on the right tyre here. They may come out and do one more lap on the inters. There's definitely a defined racing line, you can tell as you're going around here. What's surprising me is I'm not getting as many lockups as that I expect. Have you not seen rain yet on this, Jay? It's very tough. Especially in full wet conditions, because you get a lot of snap oversteer. On inters, it's not so tough. You get a couple of snaps here and there, but you do have to like marshal your tyres a little bit better. So I don't know, 151.4, so that should be all right. Well, you're in luck then, because I've got a full wet qualifying to do and a full wet race according to the weather. I'll show you, because I only do one lap anyway. There's no point doing any more. May as well save the tyres. So it's currently we've got light rain. It reckons we're going to have that throughout qualifying, and then we've got a full wet race, it reckons. So I'm 9/10 up, so that should be all right. They've only got 1 minute 15 left, so I can't see myself dropping down too far. Yep, dropped to 4th. That's it. So we're into session 2. Another 6 cars go, I believe. I think the lowest position you can get is 16th. Yeah, so as low as Pascal Wehrlein in the manor. And then you have your 10 place shootout first qualifying 3. So we'll do the same as last time. We'll let them get out and do a lap or 2. I only need the 1 lap. If I mess up the lap, and end up at the back of the grid. It's one of those things. But I have got simulated damage on, so it means that I'm more likely to crash. Alright, let's go straight out to a flying lap. Now you get to see some rain driving, Jay. I'll do it again. Too deep in. It is very good, Crumpets. This is the first game on the PS4 where they've actually truly taken into consideration the technology that they're actually working with. Last year's game wasn't good, it had no career mode or anything. This is the first one with a career mode on the next gen. And they've got a load of YouTubers in to help work on the game, what were wrong with the last game, where they could go better, what they needed to do. And the game is really good. There are a few issues with it, particularly online, but they're not majorly bad. So I'll be able to do like for example, I'll be able to do like a series with Jay and get a few other people in and actually do a proper tournament, like a proper season as well. But like the feeling you get, my controller does nothing but vibrate throughout the lap. so you can feel you can actually feel what the car's doing. It sounds daft, but like you say, with any sort of form of vehicle, you want to know what your front tyres are doing. On this, you feel like you know what your front tyres are doing. I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of superbikes or anything like that, but I've always liked playing the game, no matter how tough they were. I'm 2 tenths down. And I managed to make it up, so I did a 150.5. Let's get back into the garage. Oh. Oh, Jensen jumps up to 5th there. See, quickest time over Daniel Ricciardo. I would join you tomorrow, but I'm working at 5 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning, so it depends really on how late, but it's probably unlikely for me. So this is a dry but overcast qualifying session, so that means I'll be able to go out in the softs. But it reckons it's going to rain tomorrow. So we'll let them go out and do a lap as we always do. I'll tell you who's... any surprise one? Esteban Gutierrez is pretty surprising in the Haas. So, alright, 6 minutes left. Flying lap. DRS open, and away we go. Just up on Hamilton's time, so we could be on for pole here, guys. We'll let you know that I'll have a quick break between the qualifying and the race. It shouldn't be too long. I just need to have, get a drink and what have you before I start the race. Nice hit of the apex there. Get the nose turned in, let it run wide. So we're still up, exact same time up, gained no time, we've not lost any time. Coming up to the final chicane. I remember Michael Schumacher locking his tyres up there in real life and running straight over the path. Up to the DRS zone. And across the line. Second place.
That's P2.
So I'll take that, to be honest. Second place. Gives me someone to fight into the first corner. So I'll quickly.
The grid is all set.
So I'm starting on second place then. Right, guys. I'll be a few minutes. I'll give you a shout when I'm back. I'll leave obviously everything running. I won't be long. Right, I'm back. Let's get into it. So I earned nearly 1,500 resource points there. And I'm still losing the rivalry because Hamilton got pole. But obviously, it's not it's not what you'd expect anyway to be beating Hamilton. So they're still pleased with me. So let's see what they want from me from the races. You can see in the background it's raining at Suzuka.
Hello. I just wanted to pass on the team's expectations for this race. Good luck.
So they want me to finish 4th place higher than Lewis Hamilton and beat Jenson Button. And the Drivers' Championship target, I'm not going to lose anyway because I'm 1st place. Right then, let's have a look. Let's go to the race. And I'll leave you in the hands of Anthony Davidson and David Croft. For the introduction anyway, at least.
And a very warm welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix, an event that has decided a Drivers' Championship 11 times over the years and has hosted some very memorable races as well. Who can forget Kimi Raikkonen's win from 17th on the grid in 2005, or Kamui Kobayashi's incredible drive to a podium in 2012. A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles, and it's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 racetrack. The drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. And keep an eye out for overtakes going into the final chicane. And all this will be happening under the watchful eye of Anthony Davidson, who joins me for today's race. And assuming the weather holds, where do you expect to see the action unfolding today, Ant?
Well, most of the time, passing here is limited very much into the final chicane, or maybe down into turn 1 if you get a good run and some assistance from DRS. But if we're lucky, we might see a bit of bravery into the hairpin, a place that Kamui Kobayashi certainly made his own in the 2010 Grand Prix on his way to a very impressive 7th place. And as you say, Crofty, this is all assuming that the conditions hold out. We know how quickly the clouds can come in here at Suzuka, and if they do, all bets will be off.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and a McLaren alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel and Rosberg, Ricciardo, Button, Hülkenberg and Esteban Gutierrez, Bottas, Haryanto, Marcus Ericsson and Magnussen, Nasser, Wehrlein, Daniel Kvyat and Carlos Sainz, Massa and Grosjean, Sergio Perez and Jolyon Palmer rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Yeah, I love the build-up, Jay. The race build-up is absolutely spot on. Right, let's have a look at the strategy there. So it reckons it's going to dry out halfway through the race there. As you can see, it's going to, by halfway we're going to be on light rain to dry. So obviously, because I didn't do the full track acclimatisation, the tyre testing, I haven't got a personalised one. So I'm going to go for the low tyre management one, because it doesn't say that I'll go for the higher one. But it doesn't really matter because I'll end up having to go onto the dry tyres anyway. So then the question is what tyre to go on and that. So I'll probably end up on the mediums. So let's have a look. So we're starting P2. Let's start the race. We've got the formation lap. So as you can see, hold the clutch, build your rev, and just let the clutch out.
Launch map is good, but we need to learn the gears, so go into each one when you can. We're going to need some work on the brakes, so put some energy into them and warm the tyres as well, please.
So if you see on the delta on the right hand side, I've got your tyre temperature is the degrees above. The one that's triple digits is your brake temperature, and you want them around 700 degrees in a dry race. They can get as hot as 1,000 degrees depending on how hard you're braking. My engine's currently at 88 degrees Celsius. At the moment my tyres are probably at the optimum range. It's the brakes that are the issue. So I need to work my way up through the gears and get up to gear 8 just to make sure that all gears are working. So we've got the Iceman Kimi behind in third place. I wonder if he'll get off to a good start. I have to say the graphics for the wet races are absolutely unreal. Puddles everywhere, the particle effects. You saw the rain swirling around in the air. It was just unreal. And when it gets to, you'll see if I end up having to go on to the inters, which I probably will do at some point, you'll see a lot of like weaving onto the wet parts of the track just to cool the tyres. Saying that we're miles ahead of the grid here. The computer takes over in a second anyway and puts me into my grid slot, which is a shame because I'd love to do it myself, but it's something that we've decided not to put in. So the grid reforms now. So I don't know why why it's just done that. I've never seen it do that before. It just throws me off the track. There's Raikkonen speeding up behind. In fourth place is that Max Verstappen.
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as
Vettel in fifth, Rosberg sixth. Daniel Ricciardo in 7th, and I think Jenson Button in 8th. It won't jump straight to the start here. For some reason it does like a save thing, and then it goes into it. But I mean, you can see like all the water dripping off the wing mirrors and everything. It looks ridiculous. We've just got the last few cars coming up now onto the grid. There we go. Right, clutch in. Logs down. They get a better start than Raikkonen. Gauge what Hamilton gets up to. The best part of this game is definitely the start procedure. I mean, to hold the clutch in, because then the computer gets bad starts, you get bad starts, you can have an electric start, so the computer, you can see cars jumping for like 5 or 6 spots into the first corner. It's unreal. So I've got 1.2 laps of extra fuel here, so that should be all right if I keep it like that for now. It wouldn't surprise me if you end up seeing a safety car in these conditions, or at least, or maybe the virtual safety car. Got a good run on him. Gotta make sure Hamilton now doesn't come back at me. Weather report.
This heavy rain will last another 10 minutes before we see it transition over to light rain.
Having to manage your throttle is so tough on this game. You don't want it to be falling flat through the corners in the wet, because you'll just end up understeering out wide. And the same with your brakes, you don't want to just flat onto your brakes, especially with the anti-lock switched off, because you'll just skid straight off the track. You want to be able to squeeze. Good traction there. Run wide a little bit, so that's going to allow Hamilton to get back on me there. He might get a good run on me out of this corner here. No. Although, to be fair, I think Raikkonen's starting to catch Hamilton a little bit. I bet, Rev, you'll be loving that. Yep, he's 3 tenths behind him, so he may get him in the next couple of laps. So I'm currently scheduled to have my next lap, my next pit stop on the 13th lap. It may be sooner than that, it may be a little bit later than that, because if the weather looks like it's changing, I'll probably extend that out. Raikkonen's very close now to Hamilton. See if we can get a bit of time away from him before they start eating time back out in the dry sections later on. You have to watch out for your tyre wear quite extensively on this. If you get to about 75% wear, you're very likely to get a puncture, which I've had in a couple of races at the beginning of the season when I was getting used to it. It's probably time to pit around 60%.
We're expecting the rain to get better in around 5 minutes.
So in about 2 laps time, I'll probably end up getting ready towards Inters, about 2-3 laps, because it'll start slowing down. Oops, missed a gear. Starting to pull out a gap on Hamilton here. Whoops. Extended track there.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
So Raikkonen's now past Hamilton.
8.6 seconds.
And he's 4 seconds behind. So let's get a bit of time on Raikkonen, because Raikkonen is very good in these conditions and he will start to eat you out. Hiya Mark, you alright? Hope you're well. I will try and reply to any messages as and when I can. I don't want to end up going off the track. Just woke up? Wow, what time is it where you are? I think it may be time to go up to the next stage of difficulty.
You are in first position, front of the pack. The gap behind us is 5.0 seconds.
5 seconds already.
Your pit window opens in 9 laps time. 24 laps to go.
Teammate status.
Jensen's currently P8. Okay, distance to teammate 10.8 seconds. They're on fresh wets. The time last lap was a 1:58.5.
More updates.
Confirmed.
That's a much better entry than all other laps. I'm surprised we've not had a retirement or anything yet. Not even an incident. Usually there's a car tripping over someone else. And not just me running wide all the time. You end up just in a world of your own playing this. Just pure focus. They're very high on torque, these engines. Especially the Mercedes, which if you didn't know, has got the most efficient turbo that's ever been produced. It's a very clever design as well. Instead of having the turbo mounted together and the intake, they've got the intake on one side of the engine and the actual turbo itself on the other side. And then they've mounted a steel prop straight through the centre of the engine. So it's very efficient on what it uses and what it wastes. And they've got something like a 50% overall efficiency for the entire engine across the field, which means that in a few years your fuel efficiency in the car is going to go up astronomically, because you'll start having cars that are introducing things like kinetic recovery systems like they've got on here, which it will start using to power boost the engine things and minimise the amount of fuel that it uses.
It's not a perfect situation, but I don't think we have cause to move on to a different tyre yet.
And funnily enough, a friend of mine, well, a former colleague, friend of mine from work, actually works for Manor, which I think is pretty damn amazing. Any extend track there.
The gap to the car behind is 8.5 seconds.
So I've got nearly 10 seconds on Raikkonen now. It looks like he's getting hounded by Hamilton. Jenson Button seems to be in a world of his own, miles in front of the car behind, and there's a bit of a gap to the car in front. Did it go well, the presentation, Rev? I haven't done 1 to 40 people, but I know what it's like to do a few presentations. We had to, in fact, Jay will agree with me as well, when we had to do them for university. When we had to do his dissertation, R1 form as they called it, and we had to pass the presentation in order to continue at that point. Well, Jensen's in the pits. It's not raining heavy anymore, so the track is going to start drying up now. Weather report. So this is what I was telling you about with the strategy change. So it's going to ask me if I want, yeah, so there we go. So we'll confirm that we're changing tyres the next lap. See, the computer decided that it thought it was suitable to jump onto the inters. So it's, instead of letting me carry on and keep trying to find out for myself, it's come up with its own strategy for me. So you'll get that from time to time. Say if there were a big accident now and we were still on inters, but the track had dried out enough for dries, it would recommend I'd potentially move on to dries anyway.
It's borderline, but if I were you, I'd come in and change tyres.
See?
I'm just not sure I'm the right ones for the conditions anymore.
See, fortunately, none of my rivals behind me were in a position where they could jump straight into the pits. Let's see how good they are at making the pits here, McLaren. It's our home race, so we need to do well. 2.9, not a great, not a very quick stop. You can do 2.2, 2.3 is probably the best time to do it. But we're still going to stay out in first place because they've all come in behind as well. So we should retain our about 8-second advantage. And you can already tell I'm able to take these corners quicker. I've got 2.4 laps worth of extra fuel, which if I leave it in standing for a bit, it means I'll be able to run the highest engine mode for the rest of the race. Teammate status.
Jensen's currently P8, so the gap to our teammate is 37.7 seconds. They're on fresh inters. The time last lap was a 2-minute 16.8.
So I reckon Jensen there has actually gained on 7th place by doing the undercut. So you'll probably see someone like Jensen Button pop up as the fastest lap as we go round. So, driver behind.
Hamilton behind, our gap behind is 11.2 seconds. They're on fresh inters. We think they've got one more stop.
I reckon next tyre it'll be a medium. Middle at ground, and if we need to change it means I've got the potential to go onto the softs. Hey Venom, you alright?
Okay, the gap behind is 11.8 seconds.
See, there you go, Sebastian Vettel coming out with a quick lap. Good to hear it, Venom. Good to hear you all right. What time is it where you are, Mark?
We're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment. Some information on Ericsson. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
So Marcus Ericsson's got issues with his car. Oh, is he really?
Fastest lap for the race.
It's a bit late then to be getting up. Oh, Marcus Ericsson's been disqualified. Hey, that's the first. I've not seen that. And you, in any, in what, round 17, I've not seen that at all. So I'm going to get to a straight, and I'm actually going to see what he's got disqualified for. I'll have a look at the race director. I've never ever seen him getting disqualified. Wonder if he's got extending tracks. Have a look. Ah, I see. Fair enough. Thank you for coming in anyway. So let's have a look why Marcus Ericsson's been disqualified. I've never actually seen that before. Parked in a dangerous location. I've never seen that before. What on earth? So he's had a crash with Gutierrez. So Gutierrez has crashed into the side of him. And Ericsson's had to stop. I've never ever seen the AI get like disqualified before. I've seen them get penalties and what have you, and I've seen them cause accidents. Oh, to be fair, I got up about 10, 11 o'clock.
Caution, yellow flags ahead. No overtaking through the caution zone. Be careful until you see the greens.
The green flags are back out. We're not careful then, we could have ended up with a safety car, which would have nullified my entire gap. So we're 15 seconds ahead of Hamilton, so we've nearly got a full pit stop.
In the next 10 minutes.
Oh, that's good then. So in about 4 laps time, we'll end up drying out the track. To be fair, I get up at 5:30 most days, yeah. Got to wait for that little bit of brightness. There's a bit of a sun peeking through there, so it's going to start drying up. The clouds are getting a little bit thinner. It is getting brighter by the second. So have you guys tried the web app at all this afternoon? I've been able to get my side set up for Ultimate Team. The only thing that weren't up was the transfer market, which I imagine they'll still be working on. It were up yesterday when the few people that actually got in, but I think for the rest of us it's not up yet, so I'm hoping it's up soon because I want to start building my side ready for next Thursday and get it downloaded. So I can start downloading from Tuesday. I've just got PES to install today as well. And I can start my Michael once I've finished this. We're doing quickest lap after quickest lap, so let's cool the tyres down a little bit. Trying to get this car to turn in the wet is so tough. Get another couple of laps and the rain will have stopped completely. It'll just be overcast. Let's get a bit of advantage. We've got to be nearly like 20 seconds ahead of Hamilton here. Raikkonen, sorry. Have a look.
Leading the pack, P1. The gap behind us is 17.9 seconds. They're on fresh inters. 6 laps until your pit window is open. 16 laps to go.
Depending on how early it dries up, it'll end up being a 2-stop dry race once it turns dry. I'm a good distraction, to be fair. You get to laugh at my Sean Bean-like accent. But unlike Sean Bean, I won't die in this. So I've used 30% of my tyre. I've got 3.3 laps of extra fuel, which means I'm going to be able to run some really, really quick laps. There's 2 and 3 behind, 4, 5, 6. Buttons in 7th or 8th against it. Not getting that bright that quick now. Find out weather report.
The weather will improve shortly. Rain will ease off in 5 minutes' time.
So I reckon still another couple of laps before it starts to ease off completely. And I'll probably never notice that it's actually stopped raining, to be fair. Oh, can you imagine having no assist completely on this? It's like snaking all over the place. We need to try and convince Bradis to get this, Jay. Yeah, we'd be able to do like a proper series then. Get all 4 of us in. Get fill. If anyone else has got the game, they'll be able to join us. If not, just fill it up with AI and do like a proper tournament. Oh, for God's sake, 3-second penalty.
Awarded a time penalty for that last incident.
Xenomorph. I can't afford any more time penalties, so technically I'm 19 seconds in front. I've got one pit stop worth of time here on Hamilton, and the rain has now stopped, and Raikkonen's dropped away. So now the track's going to start drying out.
You'll be on the mediums.
We've got 11 laps to go. I'm going to try and stream more, to be honest. It's just finding what game I want to play and then finding time to do it. To be honest, I do like doing it. But I will probably start streaming more, especially when FIFA comes out. I might start streaming some of my Ultimate Team, that sort of thing every so often. I may do Seasons mode. Maybe stream the Journey. But I think the Journey is going to be like a big one on YouTube this year. Obviously, Ultimate Team will always be big.
Conditions should remain dry. We will keep you informed of any changes to the weather.
You can see the track starting to dry out quite a bit now. There's still some wet puddles on the outside, and I'm still getting dampness behind, but we're not a million miles away from slick tyres. And if I make the mistake of staying out too long, I'll notice DRS will come. You'll notice that DRS will pop up.
Situation, but I don't think we have cause to move on to a different tyre yet.
If the DRS pops up saying it's enabled, then I'm going to start losing time until I get in the pits. So I'm going to have to do it sooner rather than later. You're doing them all? So I knew you were going to do career and Ultimate Team, and I thought you might have done the Journey. It's just something a little bit different. How have I exceeded track limits there? I've not gained anything from that. Shouldn't get a warning for that. Needs to dry out soon because I've only got 52. I've used 52% of my tyres at the front. Tyre status. No, I'm not. I didn't. I said tyre status, not set full wets. Tyre status.
Wet tyres confirmed.
For God's sake, stop doing that. Set medium. Set medium. Set medium tyres.
Say again, you're breaking up. I don't think the line is really dry enough yet to start thinking about slicks. Let's hold on to the inters for a while longer.
It's going to be quite funny if I end up coming up against you on pro clubs.
Pit window is open. The pit window is open.
So Palmer's stayed on Inters, so he's going to have to do another pit stop. I'll have to keep an eye. Hamilton and that's all pitting in, so we'll have to keep an eye on what they actually swap to. If they swap to dry tyres, I'm swapping over. But if they swap to the wrong tyre, it could just like hand over the race victory to me. Rival status.
Lewis is in P3. The gap is 25.9 seconds. They're on fresh inters. Jensen has come into the pits. Jensen pitting now.
I wish it was just the Yorkshire accent that were the issue. It seems to do it every so often. Weather report.
Low chance of rain now. If the situation changes, we'll let you know.
Tyre status.
Okay, looks like some of those puddles are clearing. We're still on the right tyre for the time being, but we're not a million miles away from slick conditions.
I'm going to go to dry after this next lap. End at next lap. Run mediums to end.
Don't forget, pit in this lap.
No, not pitting in. Yeah.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
So we're pitting in for dry tyres at the end of this lap. Struggling to get a grip, so it's definitely the time to change for me. Half a second down on our best time. And I've just burnt up the front of my tyres there. As you can see, they're looking pretty worn, to be fair. Look at my left front. There's definitely some degradation there. My front tyres are running at 85 degrees, so I'm on the borderline of changing over. I'm somehow like 30 seconds ahead.
Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach, and make sure you don't speed. We're considering switching to an alternate strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan A?
Let's make sure that they put me on the right tyre. There we go, medium tyres are on. Go, go, go. Now, last 7 laps, running, 8 laps, running medium tyre. Run rich now, to end the race. Tyre status.
We're happy with the current tyre condition. They should last a while yet, so don't worry about them.
I might end up being slow for a couple of laps here as the track just finishes drying out. They're very cold, to be fair, as well. You want your dry tyres to be around 99 to 100 degrees.
We think there's a viable strategy change available to us. Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one? Copy that.
I don't need to go back on inters. I may have swapped slightly early here. I've already used 7% of my tyre in one lap. So I've definitely gone too early here. If that's the case, I'll just have to switch to the soft tyres. And then I'm about 40 seconds in front of the computer. So they will have to stop again for dry tyres since they're on inters at the moment. Which could be any time now, I reckon. They're still going around the track. The track's just going more and more in my favour as well. So they may catch me here, but I'll have the last lap. Yeah, we're definitely coming into dry period now.
You are in first position, front of the pack. The gap to the car behind is 14.2 seconds. They're on old inters. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. 7 laps to go.
So they're gaining on me at like 4 seconds a sector here. The track's getting quicker.
The front tyres are locking. Try moving the brake balance to the rear.
See, there we go. We're into dry conditions now. DRS is enabled. So you will see them all scrambling to go into the pits at the end of this lap, which is a mistake for some of the leaders because behind me, they've all just passed the pits. So they could lose a lot of time here.
The stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
Still keep locking up there.
Jenson is pitting this lap.
Still locking it up, which is not good. We're just doing a quickie slap though.
That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
So we'll catch these back markers quite quickly. Our tyres are up to temperature. I'll put that back further forward because I seem to be just going straight off there.
You're leading the pack. P1, our gap behind is 19.4 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. 5 laps till the end.
I may get DRS here in this next lap.
You are in first position, front of the pack. Okay, the gap behind is 38.8 seconds.
Oh, they're going 3 abreast.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. 5 laps till the end.
Because Palmer's on inters still and they're all on mediums. Oh, Grosjean's going to get Massa here. You have to unlock that stadium, to be fair, Jay. It'll be things like Loftus Road to start with.
We shouldn't see any rain, but if a storm front does appear, then we'll let you know.
Depending on your reputation is how you unlock your stadiums. Bernabeu and Maracanã are 5-star stadiums, so you have to be in like Division 1 or have played it for ages to have got them. And just make sure you have someone playing as any as well. If you don't have anyone playing as any, it makes it a lot tougher. Oh, Jensen with the quickest lap there. .144.6, fastest lap.
That's a new fastest lap for the race.
3 laps to go. Now strategy has been spot on.
You're leading the pack. P1, the gap behind us is 36.8 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. Just 3 laps to go now. 3 laps.
Don't ever call it that though. I'm sure they prefer you to call it the Camp Nou. Because my dad found out when he went to Spain, he said it the wrong way around. And the locals wouldn't even speak to him. Yeah, Camp Nou, yeah, because if you call it the new camp, the locals won't talk to you. They'll just completely ignore you. As my dad found out, a shopkeeper that spoke English explained it to him. And says they prefer it that way. It says they feel it's insulting to call it the other way.
Some information on Arianto. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
2 laps to go, guys. Unless something drastic happens, it's victory. Raikkonen's now in 2nd place. The Iceman cometh. Oh shit. Why did I do that? Why? I just took a chunk out of me.
Knock the front wing. The damage only looks minor, but you'll need to take it
That's what we're on about, Jay. I barely touched Carlos Sainz then, and I've got a damage to my front wing, but minor damage. But you will start to feel it affecting handling. That's why you should have it on there. Put it up to simulation on your next race. Teammate status.
Jensen's currently P8. They're on fresh mediums. The time last lap was a 1 minute 43.4.
Ah, ran wide again, for God's sake. Likewise, Atletico are moving too.
This is your final lap of the race.
There we are, we're just getting to turn in now. No, Eto, no, he's not the manager. He's just a player again. Vettel with a lap that's 3 seconds quicker than my own. There we go. Down 130R for the final time. Run wide again. That's what that front wing will do to you. And there we are. Checker flag is out. Across the finish line. P1.
Fantastic drive. Just fantastic. You deserved that race win.
Brilliant stuff from McLaren today. What a superb victory. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit to the driver as well, though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
Cheers, bud.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations.
I love the podium celebrations, they're brilliant.
Picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance.
It's a shame they haven't got national anthems as well. That'd be right good. And even do an interview or something on the podium like you do in real life. That'd be right good.
Let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Our current points leader extends their lead at the top of the championship after a very good result here today. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Difficult call, Crofty, but I'd like to say Sergio Perez. He's just so gifted at getting the most out of his tyres.
Sergio Perez. I'm saying that he did start 21st.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. Another team that excelled today was Williams, who make
Overachiever trophy. Woo!
It was great having you with us for this.
So let's see what they've got to say after the race, and then I'll finish up, guys. Thank you for being here with me. See how many resource points we get. Wow, I lost my rivalry quite a bit there. But I'm still doing well in the driver's position. So I'll look on my laptop then. We'll go to the next weekend. So there you can see it, guys. I've got a healthy lead as we go to Circuit of the Americas. So let's see what they've got to say. If anything at all. I've got a feeling something might happen here. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Hey, our upgrade pace is looking solid right now. But I do think we need to push harder if we want to stay competitive. Here's the report.
How can I go any more competitive? Ah, that's why. Haas have just caught up massively. I was going to say I can't really do anything because we are closed down and ready. We look getting ready for the next season. Wow. So they've made quite a big jump, Haas. They're not that far behind the Works Ferrari team. Cheers, Jay, for stopping by anyway. Appreciate it. And thanks for everything you've done for me today. So, there you go, guys. There's the standings and what have you. And that's a round of Japan. So I'd like to thank you all for being with me through this journey. And I'll see you again for the next race. Cheers, guys.